The future is bright indeed. We're all of us dreaming of the better days ahead, and a part of your bright new future could be a move to where the magic lives in the greater Orlando area of Florida. One of the biggest decisions you'll make when considering a move is selecting a realtor who can successfully match you with the right home in the right location at the right price. Victor Naraki is the realtor who can help you make the move you've always wanted to. Whether you're a first-time homeowner or looking to move near Disney World, Victor is in your corner. If you are looking for an experienced real estate agent covering all of Central Florida, please visit DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com today and find out just why you should work with Victor. I encourage you to create a free, no-obligation account on his website. By doing so, you'll unlock the website's full potential and be able to enter specific criteria, save listings, and browse new properties sent to your email. Visit DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com today or visit his Facebook page, Victor Naraki Realtor. And don't forget to tell him the Grand Circle Tour podcast sent you.
Nestled along the Sassagoula River, there's a tranquil place where Southern hospitality meets up with the revelry of Mardi Gras. These are Disney's Port Orleans resorts, Riverside and French Quarter. Located in the downtown Disney Resort area, Disney's Port Orleans resorts are two of several moderately priced hotels set in the very heart of Walt Disney World Resort in Florida.
Really, from the moment you arrive, there's this immersive experience of really the whimsy of New Orleans meeting that Disney magic.
Like this. Want to check out the downtown Disney area? You're just a water taxi ride away. You'll see all the sights of Port Orleans Riverside or French Quarter and really have the experience of the gentle Old South. On the resort's French Quarter side, you're welcomed by wrought iron balconies and magnolia-lined carriage paths. Even Doubloon Lagoon pays tribute to the music of Nolans, with a sea serpent slide appropriately named Scales. Down the river, the resort takes on a different personality. Disney's Port Orleans Resort Riverside brings you back to the charm of stately mansions and the legends of the Louisiana Bayou. In fact, the story of the resort is so convincingly told, you can taste it. Sit down to a plate of the famous jambalaya at Boatwright's Dining Hall. Here's Old Man Island. It has a swimming pool and slide fashioned from an abandoned sawmill, and a quiet little spot for cane pole fishing. Nowhere else in Walt Disney World can you drop a line like this. The many stories of New Orleans make their way into every room at Disney's Port Orleans resorts, including the Riverside's exclusive Royal Rooms.
One of our most famous residents of Port Orleans is, of course, Princess Tiana, and she's invited guests of all ages to come and stay in our Royal Rooms. When you walk in, you'll see the royal fabrics and the rich details of the Disney story come to life. And when you go to sleep at night, you can actually see the fireworks that Tiana's left behind to give you a magical ending to your night.
So there you have it. Whether you're looking for a romantic Riverside retreat or a New Orleans celebration, your family will find it at Disney's Port Orleans Resorts, Riverside and French Quarter.
Hey gang, welcome to another exciting adventure of the Grand Circle Tour podcast. We're doing a detour show today, and I am here with my two favorite co-hosts. Let's start off with Food Fairy Kris. Food Fairy Kris, welcome aboard, and how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really excited to talk about this today. Very excited.
Nice.
Two of my favorite resorts. So
we're talking Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans French Quarter. This is my favorite resort. This was the first resort I stayed at as well, the Riverside, and the second resort I stayed at, I think. Maybe the third. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, I love this resort. And also joining us today is Ringmaster Holly. Ringmaster Holly, welcome aboard, and how are you doing?
I'm good. Just taking a break from the pool to come in and record and heading right back out.
I'm glad he didn't say ringleader again.
It's the vacation that never ends with Holly.
Hi, tell me about it. Yeah. So like the bucket list family. We
She's
sold our
the
house and we're traveling the world.
She's the ringleader of that family and just going all over the place. So
Yeah. So, Kris, you mentioned that this was your favorite resort. Have you stayed here before, I guess?
I have stayed at Riverside twice, and I have stayed at French Quarter 5 or 6 times.
Oh wow.
Wow.
It is out of the 2, French Quarter is my favorite. I just love the smaller size. So
Yeah, I can see that. It's a lot easier to get around, for
it
sure.
definitely is. Yeah.
And Holly, have you stayed there at either one of these?
I have not, but we just visited for the first time. What was it? Our first day when we just did our trip a couple weeks ago. So I really wanted to check it out. Definitely not enough time there. I would absolutely love to stay there. Loved French Quarter area. Oh my gosh. So
You're a French Quarter girl as well.
yeah, loved it.
Okay. See, I much prefer Riverside.
But maybe if I had more time there, because it
Yeah.
was scorching. We had just arrived like the night before. That was one of our first stops. And but there's just never enough time at all. So from what I could see, I walked in and I loved Riverside immediately. I was like, oh, this is great. And then we changed sides and I'm like, oh, okay, I like this side even better. So
Well, you got 2 sides to Riverside. You got the French Quarter, or you got the mansions.
yeah.
The Mongolian Bend, they call it, and Alligator Bayou. And,
Yeah, that's true.
On the other side. So
Yeah,
you
it's
got-
all beautiful.
it's so
I have
relaxing.
only stayed at Magnolia Bend when I've been at Riverside. I've never stayed in the Bayou area.
Okay.
I've stayed in one of the regular rooms in the Magnolia Bend. And then the last time we stayed there in 2018, we stayed in a royal room because I wanted to check those out and see how
Yeah.
they were.
Would we even fit? I haven't even looked into the rooms because Chris always talks about the rooms. Would we even fit our family of 6 in a room, or would we have
Probably
to do
not.
2?
No, you'd have to get attached
Yeah.
rooms.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
So
And they're not cheap. Like
No.
it's a moderate resort, and like I stayed there when a moderate resort was a moderate price.
Mhm.
It's not a moderate price anymore. At least not for me.
Yeah.
Like there's no way I can afford
You know,
it.
I looked at something from years ago when I stayed at French Quarter the very first time. My kids were just tiny. My youngest was just going on 2, and my older one was 4. And the rate was $94.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
what
oh
it
my
was.
gosh, I can't
Sign
believe
me
it.
up. Oh my goodness.
I know. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about the history of the resorts. And then I thought we'd go into kind of like the Imagineering backstory just a bit. There's the Imagineering backstory. I don't think there's another resort that has a more extensive backstory than these 2 resorts. Like we could spend 3 hours going
Wow.
over the backstory alone. So we'll just do just very brief and tell you where you can go get more of it. And then some of the amenities, the food, what the rooms are like, stuff like that. So I'll start off a little bit with the history. So the Riverside Resorts, or Port Orleans, first opened to the public on May 17th, 1991. It originally just featured only 432 guest rooms.
That was the French Quarter section.
Yeah.
Because Riverside didn't open till a little bit after that.
Well, but even though like 432 rooms, that's like next to nothing.
Right.
It soon increased to 1,008 as construction on the other buildings were completed.
Right.
So the new Port Orleans Resort linked back to the existing Disney Village Marketplace along the Susquehanna River, and that I'm not sure if you guys know this or if our listeners know that that's a man-made river.
Yes, it is.
The Susquehanna. It's 2.5 miles long, and do you know where the name comes from?
Mississippi.
Yeah, it's a Native American word for Mississippi
Yes,
River.
it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just the start of an ambitious project because they then moved on to do Disney Dixie Landings, which opened in 1992, and it had 2 sections: the rustic-styled Alligator Bayou buildings, And then shortly thereafter, the more elegant mansions opened up in Mongolia Bend, which was this was 2,048 rooms. And is that for each, or is that combined? I think they each have 2,048 rooms, if I recall.
Let's see.
No, that would move the total up.
No,
so
the
total was 2,048 rooms.
Yep.
So 2,048 rooms for Riverside, and then 1,008 rooms for the French Quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Then on April 1st, Port Orleans and Dixie Landing officially merged into one large resort. A lot of people at the time kind of thought that Disney was trying to get rid of the Dixie Landing name because of the racial and slavery undertones with Dixie Landings. I mean, it's all based around a cotton mill and everything along that line. So you could see why they wanted to get rid of it. And they got rid of Dixie Landings completely when they changed it. All the roads, like Dixie Landing Drive became Riverside Drive. Right. The Dixon and Mansion platform buses stops just became the Blue Bayou platform bus, and they got rid of Dixie completely when they did that. So then they, of course, over the years they brought in we talked about the royal rooms. They did several refurbishments. I remember when the refurbishments were happening, I was so excited. I was so wanting to get one of the new refurbished rooms in the Alligator Bayou, and I did, and it was just like, oh, it's such a cool room. It's so rustic looking, like it looks like you're sleeping on a log bed, and it looks like you have like
how cool,
like, around the mirror it's like wood, it's like tree. And I remember like now I think now they're switching over to like the no carpeting, right? But when it did open, it had carpet that looked like wood. Like, it looked like hardwood carpet. That's what it was.
Yeah, the wood pattern in the carpet. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny how now they're switching to like, well, no carpet in all the rooms.
Yeah, I'm more of a fancy Magnolia Bend kind of gal than I am the the rustic bayou kind of gal. Yeah.
The logs, sleeping on a log bed. Yeah, I've had both, and actually my very first stay we got upgraded to a Riverview room, which was really nice in Mongolia Bend. So I also want to talk a little bit about the backstory of the two resorts. There is like I mentioned, there's a huge backstory of these two resorts that the Imagineers devised, and they made it very public. They had these handouts that they would give, and they were like miniature newspapers when the resorts first opened that kind of told the whole backstory of the two resorts. There was what were they called? The Saskagula
Times or Sentinel,
and the Saskagula Times, yeah. So they would free newspapers you could pick up, and they told the whole backstory about it. So if it's very extensive. If you want to check out the backstory, I suggest going to portorleans.org. A buddy of mine, Andre Willie, he runs that website,
and it is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
You can find out everything that you could possibly want to know about the history and about current stuff. They really keep up on that website, so kudos to him for doing that.
So the long story short is, I guess there was two gentlemen, Pierre Dior and Philippe Léan, that kind of were settlers, and they settled and they built this establishment. And I guess at Port Orleans, it was a Pierre and Orleans being Léan, they took the last names and formed it together. But what I thought was really cool, when the Imagineers were designing the buildings, especially so the mansions are, of course, along the river, and that's where like the rich and famous and the wealthy would live, is in the mansions.
That's why I like to stay there.
Yeah, so the Alligator Bayou would be your more blue collar workers, and they would have like, so if you picture the resort where the main building is, where your check-in is, where the post office is, where the entertainment is, the restaurants, that's like downtown. And then Alligator Bayou would be these cottages or homes, and as you get further away, they get more rustic. So the
That's
rooms
really
that are
cool.
the buildings that are closer to the downtown, supplies were plentiful. They have shingles, they have wooden like metal railings, they have ornate decorations. And as you get further away, it becomes more and more rustic. They come like tin roofs, and it's just plain slat wooden railings. And so if you're ever at Port Orleans Riverside and you're walking around, take a look at that detail. As you get further away, each building gets a little bit more rustic than the building before, and it is so cool. You never notice it unless you're looking for it.
It's kind of like forced perspective in a way.
Yeah, right.
For your imagination, or for you catching things. It's just not design wise as far as a building goes and size. It's just all decor type.
Yeah.
So
So let's talk a little bit about the amenities. Let's start off with Port Orleans French Quarter, since that is kind of like the first one. Kris, or Holly, are you doing the amenities? Are you going to talk some
I
of the
have
amenities?
activities.
Let's go
yeah.
activities then.
Okay, so since these resorts are right next to each other, they do share some of the same ones, but they do have a little bit a few differences. So they both have so this one has a fire pit, which most of the Disney resorts do have the campfire. So this one is campfires on the bayou. And I don't know how accurate this is, but it says you can purchase a s'mores kit, or they just do complimentary toasted marshmallows. So I don't know if that's still accurate today.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty cool still, because sometimes my kids only want the marshmallows and not the whole the whole kit. But so that's definitely one thing. And one that I would love to do is the carriage rides. Like even just listening to those horses clippity clop all over the resort there is just beautiful. Have either of you done a carriage ride there?
Have not.
Yeah.
I have not.
So
I saw the horse.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Watched them many times.
Yeah, I just love just the sound of it. So it's $55 for an hour, and the problem is for me, it's either 4 adults or 2 adults and 3 kids. So one would have to sit out.
Yeah.
One could take pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Just wait here. And then of course they have the movies under the stars. One of the really fun things is the fishing hole. So I thought this was really unique, and I just wish we had more time, because we went over there and we inquired about it because it was just so cute. And it's called cane fishing. So you literally, it's like a stick with a piece of string and a hook on it. And he told us the price, but I cannot remember. And I looked it up, and I got so many varying answers, but I saw like, it wasn't bad. It was like $20 for family of 4 or around there. The trick is, he told us, the cast member that was there, he said to come first thing in the morning, because, it gets hot. They go way under the surface of the water. So you go first thing in the morning, around 7 a.m. and you can catch, they had several fish there that you could catch. It's obviously catch and release, but it's from 7 to 1:15. So very short day, but once again, it's hot. Those fish are going to be out there, but there was bass and bluegill and catfish and sunfish. So that's a super cute little activity. But honestly, these resorts have so many activities. There's some resorts that don't hardly have anything, but these 2 resorts have so many. They have the fun playground on that one, has the behind the Muddy Rivers pool, and we can go into the pools as well. They have, but that was kind of hot. The kids jumped on the playground, but woo, that was like butt burning on those slides at the time, because we went right at like
fortune.
And then once again they have the arcade and jogging trails, boat rentals. They have bike rentals, so that would be fun. And they have the Surrey bike, so you can stick your family and the kids go in the little front there. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, this one has like tons of activities. So for my suggestion, if you're staying here, I would definitely plan a couple days of just hanging out at these resorts, especially because, like you guys are saying, there's so much history here and so much to see. Just even the different buildings there.
They do glow with the flow pool parties.
Yes,
every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
I have so many activities written down. Like they have an activity board with like mask making, trivia, chalk art. Then they have the tie dye. Like
I've done the tie dye. I've done the t-shirt.
Really?
Yeah, it's
cool.
Crazy. Painting. A beignet dash. It said a 1.5 mile relay. No, thank you. And then you get a beignet at the end of the dash. I'll just go purchase one. Thank you.
Is that only on Sundays for some reason?
I think that's what I read.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they have they also have the Saskagula selfie scavenger hunt.
Oh,
I don't know what that is, but it sounds. You grab a map and you go on an exciting selfie scavenger hunt.
It's seriously crazy. Like I couldn't even write all this stuff down. How many different activities? I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to stay there just because there's so much fun stuff to do, and I just love the names of all this stuff too. You know,
Did you read it all about if you go there Mardi Gras week or the activities that they do?
Little mini Mardi Gras parades there at the French Quarter.
Yeah,
and I guess they get golf carts or whatever, and they decorate them, and they go all out.
I love that.
For these Mardi Gras, if you go there Mardi Gras week, it's huge to go that week.
Yeah. Yep.
Love it.
Very cute.
So, what type of places are there to eat there?
There's some beignets, I think.
Oh my goodness. So do you want to talk French Quarter?
Let's start with French Quarter, yeah.
Okay. So you have your Saskagula Floatworks, which is the food court. And then you
where you get to celebrate Mardi Gras every day.
Where you can, absolutely.
We did eat there, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we just grabbed a pizza.
Oh, okay.
That's like the best deal on property. $18, and it fed us all. Like,
it's also the worst pizza in all of America, but it's a good deal.
No,
it wasn't. Okay, I did not like it at all when I had it.
No, it was fine.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, gourmet. It was more like Caesars, but whatever.
I did not. I was like the worst pizza I ever had.
Oh, no, I didn't think so at all.
Okay.
So they have American, Cajun Creole. They have the mobile orders and quick service. It's open from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. So if you can't find something there during the day, you got a problem.
And it seats 395 people.
It's huge. It is the cutest place too. All the decorations are like from Mardi Gras floats, and it is just adorable. So your breakfast items are pretty traditional with the waffle, bounty plate, pancakes, and so on. They do have plant-based items. They have a good kids portions of things, and pretty typical for a food court with pricing. You can get your Mickey Mouse celebration cake there if you want. They have bakery items as well. They do have the lunch and dinner menu is the same, where they have jambalaya and chili and burgers and chicken, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, like Holly said, salads. And again, they have your plant-based items, Impossible Burger, which if it's not possible, I'm not eating it.
We forgot about the most important one, the po' boys that they have there.
Yeah, they got that too. And then they have some really interesting things on their dessert and bakery menu. So that's your typical food court there. But
and they have alcohol there. Like, grab and go beers.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
my favorite sparkling wine that I got at Be Our Guest and Cinderella's Royal Table in a little mini version.
And they have it. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I have a photo of it. I'm like,
Yes.
what? A mini version?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can get regular beignets there. And then if you go over to the Scat Cat Club Cafe, they have your Mickey shaped beignets in that area. They have specialty beignets, Baton Rouge beignets, Mickey shaped beignet sundaes, bottled beverages and things like that. Then if you go into the lounge, the Scat Cat Club Lounge, that's only open from 5 to midnight.
But
like bar kind of.
Did you see? Yeah, so you were going to say, okay, yeah, the bartender will keep it open if he wants to.
Yes,
keep it open later. Yeah,
they will. But the bar food in there is $14.99 and under. I mean, it's pretty typical bar appetizer food.
Yeah.
But they do have Mardi Gras fritters, Bayou wings, and then the Scat Cat beignets. And the boozy beignets that you can get in there.
and they also have live entertainment there as well.
Yes, they do. They do. On
Thursdays through Monday.
Yeah.
Starting at 8 p.m. And I've gone there and done a live stream pretty much for the entire time.
Cool.
Doing the
and
they used to have like a full jazz band, and I think nowadays
Right.
they could do.
It was a little much because it's not that big of a place.
Oh yeah.
So it could get a little loud in there.
Yeah.
But and we talked about this on our pool episode that we recorded last night. One of my favorite pool bars in all of Disney World is Mardi Gras. And it is just such a fun place. And I know one of the bartenders that works there very well. They have some great signature cocktails there. Their operating hours are 11 in the morning until 9 at night. So if you're over at French Quarter, go to the pool bar.
Yeah. And their slogan is "Every day is Fat Tuesday."
That's right.
Every day. It always cracks me up. I have several friends who have bartenders that are now their friends, and I'm like, what does that say about you?
I know.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the bartender down at.
Yeah, because it's just funny because I don't go to Disney World that often, and to like know a server or a bartender, I mean, obviously you can make friends in moments. It just is funny. It always is.
Yeah, Shelly, one of the bartenders there, she has been there for a really, really long time. I actually want to say that she's been there like 25 years.
But you've stayed there several times, not just
not just once. No, I mean I know her but I'm also friends with her on Facebook, and she's in my Walt Disney Maniacs group. So she is just absolutely the nicest person. But one thing I want
to Port Orleans Riverside and see what type of dining we can get there.
All right, so there is definitely more dining at Riverside because it is a bigger resort. The French Quarter used to have a full service sit down restaurant, but that closed because of space and things like that. But the food at Riverside, again, let's start out with the food court. It is open 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. Again, it's a typical food court for a resort. I mean, your basics are there. They have some specialty items as well, besides their, the typical stuff, but they've got Bayou Amber Ale Burger. And so it's themed for your food court, shrimp and grits, gumbo, that kind of stuff. And then they have other things like Caesar salad with chicken, things like that. So they have, let's see, The breakfast stuff again is pretty typical for food courts. It's I've eaten there several times, so
I do want to say with the food court, so there's spots for 450 people.
It's big too
in the food court, which is big, but
Yeah.
you have to remember that Port Orleans Riverside has 2,048
It's
guest
huge.
rooms. So
it's
that food court
busy.
is not nearly big enough.
No,
especially in the morning when people are
Yeah.
getting ready to go to the
and
parks.
it's always busy.
Packed. But
Yes.
what you can do, because the boat rights isn't open that early for breakfast, if it is full, you can go and eat in boat rights. Take your
Yes,
food
you
and
can
go and
take
eat.
your
And
food
actually, they
with
encourage you to
and
do
go
that.
over there. Yep.
And it is the place to go for your breakfast because it's so much quieter. It's so much more relaxed. The chairs are more comfortable. The tables are nicer. The atmosphere is nicer.
Yeah.
So that's what I do every time. If I'm
That
there,
makes
I
sense.
always go and eat at boat rights.
Yep. So let's go into the River Roost. Speaking of boat rights, because it's right next door, the River Roost is the lounge at Riverside. And they do have appetizers and things from 5 to 10, along with, of course, alcohol nonstop. Because when you go there and see Yeehaw Bob, you have to have a cocktail or two while you're doing, line dances and
The chicken
whatever else
dance. And
you want to join it on. Because he is definitely the main attraction at that place. I mean, it is so much fun. They have some really cool specialty cocktails as well. Then you have, I'm going to save the big one for last. You've got the Muddy Rivers is the pool bar. And that is available from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. They have some sandwiches and salads. They're all under $14.99. Chicken salad, sandwich, ham and cheddar, things like that. And then they have non-alcoholic beverages. And of course, it's a pool bar. So they're going to have beer, wine, cocktails, you name it. They've got it. This is a really, really nice pool bar too, by the way. So if you've not been over there, it's a really nice place to stop. It's actually very relaxing. So the last
I just want to go back, Kris. I just want to go back a little bit. If you are planning on seeing Yeehaw Bob, I do strongly suggest you get there early.
Really early. Yes.
Yeah. And not only do you get a seat, because most nights it's standing room only.
Right.
But not only do you get a seat, but Bob comes out ahead beforehand, and he'll go to every table and he'll introduce himself and talk to everybody. He'll get to know your name and get to know where you're from and whatnot. And then during the show, he'll call you out. He'll call out your name and he'll go, Stan Solo from Winnipeg, Manitoba's here. Stand up. And he'll do that throughout the show. And his memory is unbelievable.
It's incredible. Yes.
He met my daughter and myself, and it was exactly 1 year later we went a second time. He remembered my daughter's name from a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah. He goes, oh, I know you. You're Angela. You're from Winnipeg.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
He has one of those incredible photographic memories and one of the best live shows I've ever seen. It's completely free. They don't charge you.
It opens at 5, so you want to get there around 4?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Unless you don't want to be called out, then show up at 5:30.
But you get there. Get there early. It is one of the best shows I've ever seen.
It is.
And like I said, it is completely free.
I've been, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and it never gets old. So
same.
I mean, you're going to hear a lot of
the only CD I have in my car for like the last 8 years.
Yes, it is just so much fun. Okay, so the main dining at Riverside is Boat Rights Dining Hall, and the atmosphere in this place is really, really cool. It's got the skeleton of pretend, because it's never been on the water, pretend ship hanging from the ceiling, and then the lighting and everything in this place is just really amazing. It is a dinner only location from 5 to 9. Dinner prices range at time of recording from $15 to $34.99, so it's not super expensive for a sit down restaurant.
Have you ever eaten there, Kris?
I have not, believe it or not.
Neither have I. I've only gone there because of the overflow for breakfast.
I've always wanted to go, and I don't know, maybe Paul and I might go there for dinner when we're there in October, because we've got a couple open nights that we can fit some things in. So we might do that. Appetizers, entrees, sides, desserts, kids menu, a really nice kids menu, and everything on the kids menu is like $10 or $12, so it's not ridiculous at all. And then of course you can get cocktails and beer and everything, because it all comes from the bar right next door. So that's your food.
A couple other things I wanted to touch on is we kind of mentioned it. The gift shop in particular at Riverside is a really nice gift shop.
It's a fabulous gift shop.
Yeah, there's been times when I've gone to look at things that I wanted to get and I can't find it, and I'm kind of disappointed. And I get back to the resort and I walk through oh, there it is.
And there it is. Yes,
I don't think
there's
we
that hat I wanted.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they also sell, or at least they used to. I haven't been in a few years, but they sell like Riverside merchandise and French Quarter merchandise in the gift shops, which is something I really appreciate.
Yes,
the resorts do that, and they do seem to be doing that more and more.
Yep.
Anything else we wanted to touch on?
Well, I did a little bit of research on room pricing, and for moderates, these are kind of a little bit on the higher end. I think they're a little bit higher than Caribbean Beach. And Disney needs more moderate resorts. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In this price range, they could use another one. But like I think I just threw a date in here. I can't remember what it was, but it's for like a standard view, it's like $282, which is really creeping up into what the rates used to be for deluxe resorts.
Yeah.
But of course, everything's going up. And that's at French Quarter. I think Riverside was pretty close to that. If not,
usually French Quarter is a little bit more, like about between $5 to $10 a night more.
Yeah.
And are you
Riverside.
able to pick the section? Like, when you're booking it, does it ask you to pick? No.
You know what's funny is there's 10 different categories that you could choose from.
Yeah.
I'm talking like water view,
right,
scenic view, river view,
right,
preferred room, king size bed. But you can't choose Alligator Bayou or Mongolia Bend.
No,
you can choose Royal Room and pay the extra for the Royal Room. But yeah, but you can't choose. Now you are more likely to get put into Alligator Bayou because half of the rooms for Mongolia Bend are Royal rooms. So there's
right. 2 buildings are and 2 are not.
But all the
you can
preferred
always
rooms are in Alligator Bayou. So if you pick a
you
preferred
can
room,
always
you're going to be
tell your travel agent, like Beatrice Dennis, that you to put in a request for the section that you want, whether you want Alligator Bayou or whether you want Magnolia Bend. And same thing with French Quarter. The last time I stayed there, I put in a request for building. My preference is building 1. It's actually the furthest away from the main, from Port Orleans Square, the lobby and everything. But it's I prefer the river view. Because if I know that I'm going to spend a day at the resort, then I want to be right there. And I know we've talked about this before, that I have literally taken a bottle of wine and my chair and sat outside my room and watched
in the walkway
up and down on the river. So
yeah, they're all exterior entrance rooms.
Yes,
There's no interior hallways at all.
But I usually when I'm travel by myself, I usually get an upper floor. I don't know. I just feel more at ease up there, I guess. But it's such a nice view of the river and watching the boats. And you can then, right there, because that's the path where the horse and carriage goes. So I can watch that. And it's so peaceful. So.
The entire site is 325 acres.
Yeah.
It's
huge.
huge. Now, Riverside, what does it have? Does it have 3 bus stops or 4 bus stops?
3.
At Riverside.
I want to say 3, but it could be 4.
I think it's 3. Now, what my daughter and I did, in order for us to, when we went, because we wanted to explore the resort, was, so they have bus stops. So when the bus comes in, it goes to the main bus stop, then it goes around the loop, and it will drop you off at a bus stop that's closer to your room.
Right.
Whether you're at a mansion or whether you're at Alligator Bayou or whatever. What we did is we got off at a different bus stop every time and walked to our room, even though it's a much longer walk. Right. It gave us an opportunity to explore the resort.
It does.
Something I kind of suggest if you're not super exhausted at the end of the full day at the parks. But because we were doing rope drop till till the guy cleaning the streets said, we're closed, right? every day.
Are you asking us to leave?
So the security guards get information and they scoot you out. Have you seen that?
Yeah. That's when we were. That's what. Okay, I guess we'll. Seeing as how this is the last bus back to the resort, we should take it. We even actually one night we even got off at Port Orleans French Quarter and walked from Port Orleans French Quarter because there's a pathway that goes along the Saskatchewan River where you can walk between the 2 resorts. It is a bit of a hike, but it's well worth it. It's a very relaxing walk. For sure.
It is very much so. Because you walk along those paths and you hear there's crickets in the speakers and
we saw so many lizards everywhere, like different sizes and colors, and I have so many pictures of lizards.
You should make the kids a lizard book. Just all pictures of lizards.
The other thing too is I find that Riverside has a very unique smell, like the outside, especially in the morning. When you come out in the morning, there's a certain smell.
It's like mossy, kind of.
Yeah. And it was really weird because I was at Orlando and I was staying at an Airbnb near Universal Studios because we were going to Star Wars Celebration. And we got out of our Airbnb and that smell hit me. It was the exact same smell that they had at Riverside. And I think it's a certain tree that's there. I think it's like a Mongolia tree or something like that.
You know what it is? It's it's those pine trees and this is why the water is the color in the river, why it's like a brownish color, because it's the trees that have their roots and the whole ecosystem of those trees that are growing. They're a certain kind of a pine tree, and that's what makes that color and that smell. So it's cypress. It's cypress trees, and
I definitely don't smell it in Winnipeg ever. I've only smelled it in Orlando.
You're not going to find cypress trees.
No, we don't have cypress trees here. So
it's the cypress trees. Like if you get cypress mulch for your yard, I don't know if you can get that up there. I mean, that's what
$1,000 a gram probably.
And it smells just like that. So, but I found out that's the reason why the river is like a brownish color, because of those cypress trees. So there you go.
That's cool. Yeah, but it was really neat how I was suddenly transported back to Riverside. Coming out of my Airbnb.
Yeah.
Well, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad you two were able to join us today for this detour.
Yeah.
What's our next detour coming up with the resorts?
Next detour coming up is going to be All-Star Resorts.
Oh.
So
okay, I've only stayed at the All-Stars once, and it was for 2 nights in 2 different rooms.
Actually, I take that back. It is All-Star is the next one after this one. It is Old Key West.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
So I think Holly should do that one because she has stayed there so many times.
Is that the one that Dan stays at all the time? Well, Dan stays at
Saratoga.
And we have to get him on one of these detours so him and Holly can head up this Saratoga Springs because they're the ones
Yeah.
who stay there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I have All Stars booked for this December coming up.
do you?
Yeah, because I usually stay at Pop. Pop is booked. Couldn't get into Pop. So,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, we have to.
Wow.
We're at All Stars. So, alrighty, this was a lot of fun.
Yes.
How about you, the people at home? Is Riverside your favorite moderate? Do you hate it there? Let us know. I'd like to hear one way or the other. If you're a fan of the Port Orleans Riverside, which one do you prefer, French Quarter or Riverside?
Yep.
Send us a message. Chat with us in the Facebook group or on Instagram. Join our YouTube. It's completely free. We got a special going right now. It's completely free to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, it
So
is.
be sure to subscribe to that and tune into our live shows every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Anything else we got to plug?
The meetup in August.
We have a meetup coming up on August 19th at the Margaritaville Resort.
Margaritaville Resort. And
Yeah,
Holly and I will not be there, unfortunately.
Well, whose fault is that?
Dan.
Anne said you two aren't invited.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Dan, take it away.
The Grand Circle Tour podcast is brought to you by Expedition Roasters. When you visit expeditionroasters.com, use the promo code Grand Circle Tour podcast. That's all one word, and you'll receive 10% off of your order. If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to like our Facebook friends page, Grand Circle Tour Magical Ticket Holders. While you're on Facebook, like our group page, Grand Circle Tours. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tour Podcast, as well as Instagram, GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour, and on TikTok at Grand Circle Tour Podcast. That's all one word. If you would like to email us, drop us a line at gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merchandise can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your adventure, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Only one rule, make it good. All logos, sounds, songs, and music that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned in full by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be owned in any way by the Grand Circle Tour Podcast. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.
Please exit to your left by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.
Please exit by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.